So again, welcome. We are so excited to have you here and welcome you to the amazing dynamic world of hospitality and tourism management. My name is Melissa Baker. I am the department chair for the Hospitality and Tourism Management department here, and we also have Lori Salami.
Good morning, I'm Lori Salami, and I'm one of the faculty here. I've been on here for over 20 years, coming from industry.
And we really mostly want to let you know a little bit about what the program is, what we do specifically here, some of the advantages that you will have here at UMass, Isenberg, our department, and really again speak to all of our great student representatives. So with that, what we actually want to do is turn it over to our students, let them introduce themselves. I'll let you know their name, where they're from, if they are double majors, because we have quite a few double majors here. It's another possibility that you have here at Isenberg. And then their current focus for area of HTM. Abby, you want to start?
Yeah, sure. So, hi, I'm Abby Berry. I'm from Bridgewater, Mass. And my current area of focus is revenue management and hospitality. I'm also a finance major as well.
Hi everyone, my name's Meredith McCandless. I'm from Pittsfield, Mass. And I'm a double major with HTM and management. And my area of focus is HR and also spa and wellness.
Hi, my name is Callie. I'm from Wilbraham, Mass. I'm a double major with accounting in HTM, and I'm focusing on hotels within HTM.
Hi, my name is Kiana Brown. I am from Kingston, Jamaica, and I'm a double major with finance and HTM, and I haven't chosen an area yet.
Hi, my name is Emmy Guan. I'm from Quincy, Massachusetts. I am double majoring in HTM and marketing, and the area I'm focusing on is the amusement park industry.
And Emmy, you're part of the Honors College too, right?
Yes, I am.
Hi, my name is Georgia Davis. I'm from Peabody, Massachusetts. The area of hospitality that I'm kind of focusing on is food and beverage management and operations management.
Hi everyone, my name is Dustin Caselli. I'm from Sutton, Mass. And the area that I'm focusing on is event operations and management.
Hi, my name is Grace Bueller. I'm from Blackstone, Massachusetts. I'm actually pursuing a dual degree in marketing and hospitality tourism management. And I'm looking to go into social media management for the lodging industry.
Hi, I'm Ainsley Sassoni. I'm from Halifax, Mass. I'm also in the Honors College, and I'm focused more on hotel and resort management.
Hey everyone, I'm Jack. I'm from Georgetown, Massachusetts, and I'm focusing on club management in the HTM industry.
So again, I think right away we already see there's a great breadth of hospitality and tourism management. And I think that's one of the things that's really important. I think sometimes, and maybe you guys are smarter than the average person because you already know this, but the largest industry in the world, hospitality and tourism management. It's actually the biggest industry in the entire world. And you kind of look at just some of these statistics. Just in 24 hours, we've got things like 15.2 million visits to TripAdvisor, 14 million nights booked on Airbnb, 22.5 million visitors on Expedia. Every 24 hours, over 100,000 flights. 2 billion different transactions, so 2.52 billion on tour spending just on retail. So when we look at all of these things, I want you to think about this idea that hospitality and tourism management is actually not narrow and limiting. It's the biggest industry in the whole world. So the possibilities are endless. Anything you want to do, anything you can dream you want to do, we have the ability to help you get there. There are so many opportunities. There is such a breadth and scope. It's a growing industry. Took a little bit of a dive during COVID, but many businesses did. But now, and think about what happened during COVID for you. People realize that the most important things in their lives are celebrating moments that matter, creating amazing memories. And you, the students here and you here, are the creators of people's favorite memories. And you have the ability to impact that in the world's largest industry. Some statistics here. Hospitality and tourism management, 1 in every 10 global jobs is within hospitality and tourism management. So think about the impact that you have as a future leader in this industry. 10% of the global workforce is here in hospitality and tourism management. Over 10% of the global GDP from a business perspective is done here in hospitality and tourism management. We also have amazing opportunities in terms of managing diverse global teams. Being a leader. Here in this program, we don't just train you to be line level employees. We train you to be managers and leaders. We train you to make a difference in the world. And I think something for you and your generation, you guys want to make a difference. This is the biggest place where you're able to do that. You're able to manage diverse global customers and diverse global teams and people. And I think this one's really important. This is a dynamic industry. It's interesting, and you will never be bored. So that's one of the best parts about this as well. So do think about that, whether here in this presentation and afterwards at our luncheon, how big and dynamic this industry is. So with that, we're going to turn it back on over to our students. And what do you love most about the hospitality and tourism industry?
Yeah, I think I love the leadership opportunities that are available, especially here at Isenberg, and our extremely strong alumni connection as well.
My favorite part about HTM at UMass is that it's like makes a really big school a lot smaller, and in all of my classes, my professors know my name, know my classmates' name, know our interests, and therefore they can kind of tap us on the shoulder when they hear of an opportunity we might like.
What I love about the hospitality industry is that it's really welcoming, and the alumni of Isenberg are always really interested in helping you out and giving you tours of where they work. It's really great.
I love that it is such a diverse industry. It has a lot of job variety, and as Melissa said, it's very dynamic. I'm from Jamaica, as I said earlier, so tourism is very big there, and it has such a positive impact on my country, so I think that's what I love most about HTM.
I love that there's so many work and internship opportunities on campus, like the Marriott Center or even Blue Wall, and just like the dining halls.
My favorite aspect about the hospitality industry here at UMass is that they really, while they focus on traditional classes like food and beverage management and hotel management, they also focus a lot on creating your soft skills and really strengthening those as well.
Yeah, what I love about the HTM industry is that the people who enter it, especially those who study it, are super passionate and open and sociable, like with everything that they do. So it just feels like a great community to be a part of.
Similar to that, it's also just the relationships you build. Every single place I go, I make at least one connection throughout a hospitality person. Everyone is so willing to meet with you, talk to you, build your connections and your network, and it's really fulfilling.
Yeah, I came in as a freshman and immediately found like I found like a home within HTM. There's such a good community of all these professors and students. There's so many great resources and everyone's there to help you.
Yeah, I just love this industry because it's so big. You can just find something that you really like. For me, it was golf. I love golf. I love country clubs. I love being around that. HTM helped me find something exactly what that was, and that was club management. So.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I wanted to just talk a little bit about what you would learn within our program, and we have a list here of areas of study for both our required and elective courses. Some of these may look familiar to you, things you might think of as very typical hospitality type of career paths, such as lodging operations, food service management, event, club, casino management, right? But a lot of them are probably not as typical as what you might think of being traditionally hospitality management. Obviously, customer experience management is the umbrella that we're always looking at, but sales and marketing, for example, these days is about social media management, technology, it's about brand identification and relationships built on that. Finance, accounting, revenue management, data analytics plays a role, and we have a certificate program in that. Sustainable and cultural tourism. Sustainability is very important. Most businesses recognize that that's part of their corporate social responsibility for the next generation, which are those of you in the room now, as well as culture and cuisine. So a lot of opportunities here. What we try to do is we try to ensure that our classes are having innovative content as well as teaching, so that our students get to experience that excellent opportunity. The other thing is that even in the less traditional areas, our students get to have exposure in and out of the classroom. So we really try to connect industry to the classroom, but then we continue those connections outside of the classroom. So whether it be having a mentoring opportunity with a current leader or doing networking within the industry. We have students here who are on executive boards of clubs, so they're practicing their leadership skills while they're here. We do field trips to all different types of places. We have opportunities for peer-to-peer networking as well, which helps to build the skills. So all of those things, not just within these areas, but within a lot of areas, makes a huge difference so that when our students are looking for jobs, they're not going to have a problem. And by the way, we're in a really great location here in Amherst because we're very close to both Boston and New York. We have a lot of alums in those areas, many of whom are in very high leadership positions. And they come back to present opportunities to our students. And I think that's one of the really important things that has been a very value add for students here at UMass and in our HTM program. We are one of the oldest programs in the country. So speaking of all those experiences that you may have, I'm curious, what would you say is your best HTM work experience, course, or extracurricular experience?
So for me, it's definitely I'm one of the co-presidents of a club on campus called the American Hotel Lodging Association, which has been a really great opportunity to develop leadership skills.
My favorite course, it's called Hospitality Leadership. If you guys end up coming here, definitely take it. You get set up with a mentor. So my mentor's from the Breakers in Palm Beach. And we meet once a week, we chat. She helped fine-tune my resume and everything. And it's all just from that class.
And you've also done some field trips?
We've done a lot of field trips. We just got back from one Friday, and I think we have one next Friday, so it's really fun.
My best HTM work experience was interning at a country club, Great Horse. Some of you might have heard of it. And I found the recruiter at the HTM Career Day, which is also a great event at Isenberg.
I think my best is I am the underclassmen representative of SOCA, which is the Students of Caribbean Ancestry, so that helps me build my leadership, as well as I worked retail for so many years.
My best HTM work experience is currently right now in Blue Wall. I work at the Yum Bakery, so it's like a dessert bakery. I love desserts. I love bakery. That's one thing I want to do in the future, so that's definitely helping me with great people. Lots of them.
In addition to being president of NSMH, which is National Society of Minorities in Hospitality, my best course definitely is Food Operations Management, which is you have a 55-minute lecture once a week, and then you have a class for 5 hours, which is like a shift at the Marriott Center, which is where we'll be having our lunch. So you'll get to experience what that's kind of like as well.
Yeah, and something about the HTM program here, I'm super lucky to be the co-chair of the HTM Career Day Committee, which is one of the largest student-run events here on campus. So we're planning our 50th anniversary, and I'm super happy to be a part of that.
My favorite HTM extracurricular experiences is actually through the American Hotel Lodging Association. We get to go on a trip once a semester. We go to New York in the fall and Boston in the spring. We get to stay overnight at a beautiful hotel. And we get to tour 3 different hotels throughout our stay there and meet with a lot of UMass alums and get to get closer with our friends in the major. It's awesome.
Yeah, going off of that, I'm the events coordinator for the American Hotel Lodging Association, and I got brought on as a freshman, so it was really a great leadership role in the beginning. We get to tour 3 different hotels and do alumni dinners and stay and explore the city. And,
It's tough to choose just one, but probably my favorite extracurricular experience, being the president of CMAA, which is the Club Managers Association of America. We have a student chapter here. Is last March we went down to Orlando. We brought probably 10 students, and we networked with industry professionals from all different clubs, some California, not just ones down in Florida. And that was really fun. We're also going to Vegas to do the same conference next year, all paid for by the club. So.
Yeah, that's really important. We make all of these activities, whether it's the leadership class, all of these are done through we're an 85-year-old program. We're one of the oldest programs in the entire United States. So when we talk about your network being your net worth, we have 85 years of amazing alumni that want to assist and see the next generation of leaders. So most of these experiences are at no cost or very low cost, and we want to make sure they are accessible to all of our students, whether it's these club opportunities, going to Orlando or Vegas, or these field trips. Again, that's something that we really impart here to make sure that we're able to give you an amazing outside of the classroom experience in addition to inside of the classroom.
Any class experience anybody wants to mention that was particularly valuable?
Or an internship or work experience?
Putting them on the spot. We didn't prepare them for that.
I found a really great like passion in the electives that you take in HTM too. I've always been interested in events, but I wanted to learn more about it. And there's a special events management course, there's a meetings, convention, and exhibitions management course. And so taking those classes has really helped me kind of hone in my craft and area of what I want to do and seeing real world examples of that industry.
And now you're putting that to use as co-chair of the career day. When he says it's student managed, they plan and execute a multi-day event that has hundreds of people participating, and that is student-led through the experiences that they've gained in the classroom and then apply them outside the classroom. And the thing is, when you start hearing about all of these experiences, it's kind of amazing that they were high schoolers just a short time ago themselves. But because of the opportunities that they get in and out of the classroom, when they graduate, they are ready to hit the ground running. They're already connected to the industry. They are prepared, they are confident, and they're ready to be the next generation of business managers in hospitality and beyond, managing million-dollar budgets and billion-dollar facilities.
I'll ask real quick to either Meredith or Ainsley or Kiana, what did you guys do either last January or this summer?
Oh, we did business in Italy with Professor Baker, and that I wasn't in this major before that, and I added it after because it was my first time out of the country. It was so eye-opening. It's like, and you should talk about it too. It was like just 3 weeks in Italy, touring like wineries, small businesses, hotels, and it was like so impactful. I highly recommend you guys doing it if you come here.
Well, I went to South Africa. It's an Isenberg trip. It's not HTM focused, obviously, but that's where I met Professor Baker. And we spoke about HTM. I really connected with her. And after I came back, I declared an HTM major. So I'm just new to the major, but I plan on going to the Europe trip with Professor Baker in summer again. So.
Yeah, the Africa trip, we have a number of short-term study abroad opportunities here in Isenberg. Business in Italy, again, is a couple-week program. Visit all kinds of different businesses, understand the globalization, the culture, and then the service, and Professor Saleem is doing that this year. The service leadership in South Africa is a 3-week program where we learn, again, a lot about the culture, but also it's very community service and leadership-based. So we're able to donate a lot of computers. We were building vegetable gardens. We actually participated in the Save the Rhino project.
Yeah, I did the Italy program with Meredith, and it was amazing. We got to do projects, so we all had a different focus when we were there to like kind of look more into. So my project was based on people management, which I could really relate back to HTM, and just being able to see, because one of my goals is to travel. So like I got to travel and see all these different businesses and how they run and how they manage their employees. So that was amazing.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Perfect. And so with that, some of the things we want to talk about is particularly, remember, the HTM program here is part of Isenberg. We are part of a business school. We're actually, of all the hospitality and tourism management programs in the United States, we're one of just a handful that's part of a business school. So that gives you an incredible competitive advantage. You have access to all of the same resources in Isenberg, our Chase Career Center, all of those platforms, our huge network. You're also part of a top 50 business school. Isenberg just ranked 47 out of all the universities, so you are in a top 50 business school, which is an amazing competitive advantage. Again, that huge network, your network being your net worth. You're also on a program that is consistently rising in the rankings. We have such a huge commitment here to teaching excellence, to the facilities, to the experiences that we offer, the opportunities that you have here. And I think you want to be part of a program that's growing and is always saying, this isn't good enough, but how do we be better? How do we be better for our students? How do we offer them better opportunities? We are committed to that here in Isenberg. You also have the possibility, if you come in as an HTM major, you have to apply also to double major, but you can double major. We have quite a lot here. We have a number of students that are also in the Commonwealth Honors College. This one's really important too, but I think we're 6 or 7 years running the best food of any college, and do not underestimate the importance of having really great food to study, to keep your wellness, to keep you really satisfied. So that is just such a huge offering that we have here. There's I mean, we have like so many different events that you're able to have. There's like lobster nights. I mean, all kinds of amazing things that we have. Yeah, it's really good, right?
It's coming up.
And we
It's
have
coming up.
memorandum
It's coming
of
up.
understanding with the providers of those services. So we have formal internships there where students are learning supervisory and management skills within one of the largest dining facilities of any school in the country.
All right, so then we'll turn it back over to the students. So is there really an advantage to being part of Isenberg? What's the best part about that?
Yeah, for sure. I think, again, like you had said earlier, having access to all these resources is really helpful, especially the classes too. And I'm also a finance major as well, so I think having that opportunity makes you really marketable, especially for recruiters.
Yeah, I think the alumni network is huge. It's really extensive, and everyone is very willing and like wanting to meet with you and help you. And then for me particularly, being a double major, it's so helpful that being in Isenberg and being in HTM, it's like so doable, and you just get to like expand your breadth, like doing both of those.
An advantage of being in Isenberg is definitely the resources they have, like the Chase Career Center and iConnect and all the events. A lot of my friends not in Isenberg are panicking right now because they don't have a LinkedIn or resume, but Isenberg walks you through that, so by the end of your freshman year you have both and they're ready to go.
I think the access you have to the professors is really great. You know, coming from high school, they were like, oh, your professors don't care and this and that. Like, I've never met an Isenberg professor that didn't care or like wasn't willing to help you. Like, even when I connected with Melissa in South Africa, like I never expected that. Like,
There's a lot of great advisors and professors willing to help you, especially for me when I was like not sure which to double major. They were very helpful in helping you like choose.
I would say being an HTM major in business school, you have a really big advantage because not only is it a very competitive business school to get into and to graduate from, but you do have those same resources and the same recruiters that are looking for finance and accounting majors. They're also looking for hospitality majors as well because they have those people skills as well.
Yeah, and to go off of that too, being in Isenberg, recruiters know that you've also taken core business classes. So within HTM, you're also getting the same classes that all of the majors in Isenberg are. So they know that you have that great foundation to bounce off of, plus the HTM, which is those great people skills and all of that.
The biggest advantage to me is the real world experience you get just through your classes. I'm in a marketing class right now and I'm doing case studies, and I actually worked with representatives from Target to try and help increase their their grocery store presence in the stores, and it's really cool. Like, you wouldn't get that real experience anywhere else. Like, I'm working with real people in the real world. I have a new one starting tomorrow on Monday. It's really exciting to do like the actual experience, like hands-on stuff before you go to the real world.
What's great is you get access to this beautiful building anytime, any hour you want. So all of my homework gets done here. My friends come with me because I have access to it. And it's nice to be around other business-minded people. Like, all my roommates are STEM majors, so it's nice to just be here and be around people who are also pursuing the same thing.
Yeah, like the professor said, not a lot of business schools have HTM within them, and like an aspiring general manager like myself should definitely have some knowledge about accounting, finance, and marketing, things like that you're not going to get at another school where you're going to kind of go in and maybe learn those things while you're there. But if you can go in with those skills and say, yeah, actually, I can do accounting at a pretty simple but understanding level, I think it's super valuable, and that's going to make you get the job where that person maybe doesn't have those skills.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that's something too that we hear a lot from our recruiters. We had Fidelity Investments come into my customer experience management course last week. And one of the things that they said is there's a lot of finance majors out there. It's a really popular major. It's a great major. But one of the things that they're actually looking for now is those individuals that are able to build those customer relationships, understands the people, the soft skills, the communication, again, that customer experience focus. And they said their favorite combination to hire is when they have a hospitality and tourism management degree. And that's not even in the hospitality and tourism industry, but again, we have such critical, vital, transferable skills. And so many of our recruiters are out there saying, this is the right place to be. This is where you have so many of those opportunities. Anything else? Nope. All right. So we'll talk a little bit about what you love what you love so much about this program. You've heard our students say a lot about these field trips that they have. They're going to be going to New York. The AHLA group is going to be going to New York in a couple weeks. We just had an amazing field trip on Friday, all day meeting with some executives at the W by Marriott. We have such a commitment to teaching, innovation, learning, technology within the classroom, all of these different clubs. That career day, which is the oldest student-run career day in the entire country. And most career days across a lot of colleges are all done by the faculty and the staff. This is planned by the students. They do everything. They decide what companies to bring, what opportunities there are. They collect the data on the companies. They create the marketing materials. They plan the entire event. They do the huge operations, right, for both the career day event itself and the senior reception. We are celebrating our 50th anniversary. Proud Past, Golden Future, right, Dustin, is going to be our theme. I think we might be going a little black tie for this year, so it's going to be very exciting. Those short-term study abroad programs. And I think something that's also really important here is a lot of schools all say we have good teachers. We're going to put our money where our mouth is. You can see here we've got 5 of our teachers here who won the 2018 College Outstanding Teacher Award for all of Isenberg, 2019, 2020, 2022, and 2016, and I have some other ones in there too. But we have so many amazing teachers here, and not every university does. So you're going to have a great experience in the classroom, and I think you've already heard, we really do care about you. It's our backbone, right? That's what hospitality is. We want to see you succeed. So we'll turn it back to our students. What do you love most about Isenberg HTM?
I think like a lot of you guys know, because you're interested in hospitality, there's like something in your heart that you just want to help people and like that service spirit. And I found that to be so true among all of the professors. Like I've had 3 different professors like email me or LinkedIn me like, hey, can I help you find a summer internship? Or like it's just like there's not any other community like this where people want to help you so much. And like even last year I went to the Boston like alumni reception, and everyone at the table gave like me and the other students their cards and were like, please reach out, please let me help you. And I don't know of any other major that people want to help you like that.
What I love about Isenberg HTM is the electives that you can take. So you have your generic, like the core HTM classes, but then for your last 9 credits, I believe, you get to choose what classes you take. So every HTM major takes different electives, so you can kind of personalize what exactly you want to take a class on.
I love the opportunities. Like I'm in Professor Salimi's class, and that's how I heard about the New York trip, which I'm going on in a couple weeks. I think that's so great because I'm new to the major, so I didn't know about all of this. So having the professors be there like, hey, you know, we have this, and then we have this, and then I had Melissa like email me, and we have this, and we have this, and you should join this club. Like they really try to help you like make yourself look better for your resume, and just like help you be a better person overall, which I think is great.
My favorite about Isenberg HTM is all the classes I'm taking for HTM, just because the professors are so nice. It's like you come back from your finance class and it's all math, and then you get to see Professor Baker, and then with her smiley face and all that.
I'm everywhere.
I love the HTM professors here. Like, they're amazing.
I'd also reiterate the opportunities here. Just having the opportunity to go on those trips. I went to the Boston alumni dinner last spring, and it was really a great experience. Not only did we get to meet with the alumni, but we also got to work and help set up with the Boston Park Plaza, and that was just a really great experience as well.
And another important distinction I think about, especially HTM, is our professors have real-world experience. Mm-hmm. And when you're sitting in class and you're listening to someone teach it theoretically, sometimes you're wondering, well, how does that really work? And I can't even tell you, like, Professor Baker's story hour was one of my favorite things to listen to because it was real-world experience, and you see those things that you're learning in action from their perspective. So, yeah.
I don't know if anyone's mentioned this, so Isenberg HTM is one of our smaller majors here on campus. So everyone says you can't make a small school big, you can make a big school small. And HTM really makes it small, and the relationships I built in HTM are going to carry out to my real life. I've got some of my best friends there. It's really exciting to just meet really good relationships and network with professionals and students. It's awesome.
Yeah, I came in as a freshman and I was like, oh, I don't need my business professional clothes yet, like I'll be fine. Within the first 2 weeks, I was like, Mom, I need you to mail it to me. And I was like, I'm going on hotel tours, I have an alumni dinner. Like, the opportunities are just out of this world. Like, it's just so amazing, and that's what really makes the experience.
Yeah, I love everything about HTM, but that second professor on the list, Rod Warnick, will make you come to be an HTM major alone. He is probably the most caring person I've ever met. He's my faculty advisor for the club I'm the president of, and he knows exactly what you want, and he's going to get it for you. Just 2 weeks ago, I played a golf tournament with Rod, who we were paired up with the clubhouse manager of the country club in Brookline. And for those of you who don't know, that's the best country club in Massachusetts. And I was down in Orlando with Rod, and then he grabs me by the shirt and just throws me at the table. That's Augusta National for how to work the Masters tournament. Like, he's pushing me to do that stuff, but with all his connections and stuff, it's unbelievable how much the professors care and want to see you go do it. And I know some alumni that say, like, you're close with Rod, like, they're still texting Rod probably 2 or 3 times a week, and they've been out of school for like 10 years.
Yeah, Rod's the mayor. Rod is the mayor. He knows all the people. He knows how to connect you to everything.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I mean, we want you to succeed. And I love too what Grace mentioned about, you know, UMass is a big school, and at a big school like this, you just have a lot of opportunities. There's over 330 student clubs that are just official clubs, right? So, I mean, in addition to the American Hotel and Lodging Association and the National Society of Minorities, we also have a huge women in business club that's amazing here in Isenberg, and women in securities, and then there's a Quidditch club and a board game club, and there's a lettuce eating club here on campus. I don't know exactly what they do there yet, but so many amazing opportunities, right? So whatever you love and whatever you're passionate about, at small schools it's not always there, but at big schools you can take a big school. It gives you those opportunities, but find a way in Isenberg to have a smaller section, and then again in hospitality and tourism management to find your family.
And I like that Ainsley said it started freshman year. So this past week we had our new student welcome reception, which is a breakfast, because my class is in the morning, so we do it during that time up at the Marriott Center where you're going to visit. And we have alumni who come. We have a leadership board members who come, but also alumni who serve on a panel with our newest students. And it's a really lovely event. So this year, when the event ended, we said people will be staying, the alumni will be staying if anybody wants to stay and talk. Nobody left. We had over 70 students there. Nobody left. The connections were already starting. These students have only been here for 5 or 6 weeks, and they were brave enough to stay, and great conversations happened. So I want to talk a little bit, if you can do one more click for me here. Thank you so much. So I guess the question is, what can you do with your degree? I say the question is, what can't you do? Because you can really do anything. Over here on the right are some of the companies and opportunities where HTM students have either interned or landed jobs upon graduation. Any of these names surprise you? Any of these brands interest you? It's a really great example of how HTM, yes, we have a lot of the traditional things, but also a lot of the non-traditional things. We absolutely have students who are interested in the traditional things like events and food and beverage and lodging. But more and more we have students who are interested in kind of emerging or crossover careers like technology, like relationship management, like real estate. And so this really is a great example of that. And we're very proud of that because we like to make those opportunities available. And being part of Isenberg really, really helps that. You'll see up here in the top corner, median starting salary. So nationally, the median starting salary when you graduate with a bachelor's in hospitality is about $45,000. Isenberg HTM is about $54,000. So that's a huge value add. If your student loan payments are $300 a month, which is the national average, that's 30 extra months just in your first year alone. And that number is actually a little bit lower. It's deflated because what happens is a lot of our students go into management training programs, manager in training programs, MIT. And those are 6 to 12 month rotational programs, usually in large international companies, where you get a specialization as well as a rotation. When you successfully complete that program, you then are placed into an entry-level management position. And in our industry, it's very large, very quick career growth. And so you look 3, 5, 7 years out, and those salaries are really quite impressive. We have a 94% of our graduates seeking employment accept jobs within 6 months of graduation. The industry is perhaps in one of the biggest periods of growth it's ever been in the last 20 years. So what that means is when you graduate, you not only have opportunities, but you have choices. And those choices are as broad as you can imagine that they could be. I think that work requirement absolutely prepares students to take advantage of these things. When I think about what is business, Herb Kelleher said, he was the founder of Southwest Airlines, he says the business of business is people. And I don't care if you call it your market, your customer, your guest, your patron, it doesn't matter. Any company who wants a good return on investment is going to focus on two things these days. Number one, they're going to look at the connections that they make, the relationships that they have with those customers. And then the second thing they're going to look at is ensuring that every experience their market group has with their organization is a positive one. Those are the business management skills that we teach here in HTM. And that's what prepares students for that next step and for that success, whether it's in the HTM industry or some other industry. So we have some slides here. Melissa and I kind of went through our LinkedIn and just looked at what some of our students are doing. I mean, we could do a whole 2 hours just on that. So these are kind of some of the more traditional type of careers. Madeline is in, I would use the pointer, but it doesn't work on this type of a screen. I've taught in this class before. It's really funny. It's plasma, so it absorbs. Human resources at Boston Harbor Hotel. Most of you know that property. It's located in Boston. The gentleman who owns the company that owns and manages that company is one of our alums, gives back time and time again. A cafe manager at a restaurant group. Oh, but guess what? It's in Google. Kevin is doing conference services for Highgate, which manages more hotel rooms in New York City than any other company in the city. We have events management at JP Morgan Chase. We have guest services at Raffles, doing culinary management for groups, working in casinos, working at clubs, and Clubs Essential is doing club management for clubs all over the country. Marriott is obviously a very large employer for people who are looking at that traditional side. Beverage operations management, Stephanie. Didn't she do the
Stephanie just
awards?
Stephanie just received an award for being one of the best cocktail crafters in the entire country. So she was featured nationally. She's absolutely amazing, and now she actually works for Marriott Global in their beverage management sector,
And just in terms
creating cocktails.
innovation, she won for non-alcoholic cocktail.
Yes.
Because that's really a trend right now, non-alcoholic mixology. And cutting edge, right? And that's from what she found her passion. When we look at kind of the not as traditional side, you'll see we have people doing a lot of different things. Public relations, Danny is one of our alums. I believe he is a mentor in the leadership class right now. She started in kind of the operations, but very quickly moved over to asset management. And she works for a company that manages huge assets in the New York metropolitan area. Becca is doing customer success management. She was straight up hotel, and then she changed her mind. She works for Boston Intelligence Robotics. Why would HTM work for robotics? We have so much innovation in AI in our industry that these companies are looking for HTM people who understand the industry so they can develop the technology needs to meet it. And she's doing a product launch for, I think it's a robot that's going to be within hotels. Lyman Phillips is certainly one of our superstars. You'll hear more about him in a minute. He started here, very connected to Rod, very into the club area, and has moved on to do capital and capital investment. So if you look at some of these, you'll see that people are doing some really interesting things, customer success management. All of this is based on those experiences and skills that we've talked about.
Nikki works over at Marvel, so that's pretty amazing.
Oh yeah, I left her out. We've got people at Disney, we've got people at, I mean, you name it. TD, I still call her the garden, so that's hard for me to change what I call her.
So the next thing that I just want to really, the last thing I really want to highlight is that hospitality and tourism management, again, largest industry in the world, and so it just represents possibilities. I want everyone to think about it's a global industry. If you want to work in a huge city, if you want to work in a small town, if you want to do ecotourism back in your hometown where you came from and make a difference, if you want to go ahead and be an entrepreneur, you want to work for a large company, all of those possibilities we embrace and we help you get to those possibilities. Lyman Phillips, one of our graduates, 2016, not that long ago, he started working in club management. He actually leveraged a lot of his skills. You can just see this week they closed a $20.5 million real estate investment deal with his company that he's the founder, and then those other two individuals, Michael and Jesse, are also Isenberg HTM graduates. Lyman was actually one of our Leaders of Impact winners talking about what a global, huge difference you're able to make. So he was one of our award winners, and here's what he actually said during his keynote speech. He said, the HTM department is the best in the whole country. No one is going to beat it. And Isenberg is the best decision you will ever make, and I dare you to find a more well-rounded business school. Oh, wait. So with that, I want to go ahead and turn it over to our students. Because we talk so much about how hospitality and tourism management at Isenberg represents possibility, for those of you here in this room, take a second and think about, what is your possibility? What do you want to do? Where do you want this to take you? Maybe next year, but also 5 years after that when you graduate, maybe 20 years down the road. What is the dream that you have? What is that possibility? So you guys want to go ahead and, it can be near or far. What do you think, Abby?
Yeah, so for sure, similar to Lyman, I would love to combine my two passions of real estate development and hospitality, kind of intertwining the two. So I feel like that would be really fun.
This one's pretty far for me, but I love health and wellness, and I love hospitality, and I'd love someday a Canyon Ranch type of thing, and to manage a spa that really focus on sustainability, health, and wellness, and that's kind of where my areas intersect.
There are so many things that I want to do. I can't decide between hotels, restaurants, clubs, but I know it's okay because with the HTM degree you have infinite possibilities. You can do whatever you want with it.
My possibility, it's pretty far out, but I do want to go back to Jamaica, maybe run a hotel there. Maybe, start my own Marriott in Jamaica. Sounds pretty cool to me.
My possibility is definitely owning a little bakery and an amusement park. So,
I really love a lot of aspects of the industry. For a short-term possibility, I have a possible internship with a company that I've been working for 4 years. It would be working remotely, engineering menus, working with executive chefs, but long-term, I think I want to travel for work. And my grandmother in the 50s, she was a flight attendant, and I kind of want to follow her footsteps and work in operations with travel.
Yeah, so hopefully a soon possibility for me as a senior is working as an event manager for a large hospitality company.
Short term for me, I'm hoping to go into an internship with Marriott over the summer in one of their Boston hotels. And long term, I'm just hoping to go into brand management and social media management for lodging industries.
Yeah, I'm looking at the summer internship with Marriott, and hopefully that'll bring me to Marriott hotels around the world so I can travel and manage.
Yeah, short term, I'm actually hoping to work internship at Augusta National Golf Club. I'm not sure if any golfers are in here, but that's a pretty good one if you play golf. And I'm actually emailing with them right now. I was talking to someone yesterday. In the long term, I aspire to be a GM of a high-end private club, something like Augusta or the Country Club.
So I want to first thank our how amazing are the students?